Let's begin our composition number 3 by setting up our score template. So I will start, certainly follow every direction on the composition 3 instruction page that you see posted. So first of all, I've opened Sibelius and I'm on the tab that says New Score, and I choose Blank. And then Change Instruments, and I will choose, if it's not already chosen, let me close that up. I will choose keyboards and piano and add that to the score. Next, I will go to the triangle beside guitars. You can either do guitars or bass guitar, both work. 4-string bass guitar notation, put that in, and that went to the bottom. If it did not go to the bottom, then click it and move it down so it is at the bottom. Next, I will go to drum kit and drum set, and I'm going to choose a rock drum set, just standard. I suppose you could choose one of these other drum sets, but don't go too wild on it. Maybe you want a Motown sound, maybe you want something else, but let's add a drum set to the score. The drum set I do need to move down. That goes at the bottom of the score. So now I have piano for both parts, the bass part and the drum part. I'm going to click OK. Now I'm going to move down. I'll leave 4/4 as is. I think I would like my tempo to go at, I'm going to click on metronome mark, quarter note equals 120. Okay, that was not in the instructions, but I just decided to do that just now. Down here under key signature, it says in the instructions, go to major flat keys right there and choose F major. And then I'll put in composition 3 and your name. And I'll click create. It has now given me 5 measures. I'm going to need 16 measures. This piece is 16 measures long. So beneath the layout tab, notice I'm not clicking on layout, but right beneath the layout tab, I'll click on add multiple or irregular, and I'm going to put in 11 bars because 11 plus 5 equals 16. Click on OK, and then just click here. And now they are in the score. Next, I'm going to do what we've done for the other compositions. Click on the bar line at the end of the 4th bar and hit return. Go 4 more measures, so the end of the 8th measure, hit return. Move over here where the other measures are on the 2nd page. Go 4 more measures. Click on the bar and hit return. And now I have, if I reduce the size of the score so you can see everything, I have my composition 3 template set up. With 4 measures, you can see them connected to here, together here. So everything right there happens at the same time. 4 measures, 4 more, and the final 4. Okay, so now I have set up my score template. Now, as it says on the instruction sheet, we're now ready to write our piece. So let's begin with some chords. Here are your choices in the key of F major. And if you look at the instruction sheet, it shows you the chords 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 built in F major. They're written out right there. So whatever your chord progression is, whatever you choose, just copy those chords exactly as you see them right now. So let's say in the first 4 measures, I would like to have a 1, 4, 5, 1 progression. I'm going to make this a little bigger again so you can see more clearly what I'm doing. Right here, I'm going to click on whole note and move that down. I could actually leave it right where it is. It's still going to be correct. But while I still have the shadow, I'll click in the other notes. Now I have my 1 chord. So I'm going to write a 1, 4, 5, 1 to begin with, as we did on the previous composition. You don't have to do that, but that's my choice right now. I'll copy it over here, take that 1, and I can move it up to 4, or I can move it down to 4. 4 in the key of F would be B flat, so I can go up to B flat or down to B flat. And then paste it here and go down to C, which is the 5 chord, and then paste it here. And there's my 1. Now I have a 1, 4, 5, 1 chord progression in the key of F. So in that key, with that chord progression, in the bass clef staff of the piano, I chose that progression. Now I'm going to write a bass part that has a little bit more rhythm. Let's go with okay, so I chose this rhythm. Bum 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 is the bass part. There are many, many different good bass parts. But you notice I wrote almost all Fs, the name of the chord above it, the root of the chord. And I went down to the 5, which is the top note, the C in the chord. So I only use chord tones. I'm going to copy that, paste it here, and move it to fit that chord, paste it here to fit that chord, and paste it there. Now I have my first chord progression and my bass part. Let's take a listen to see what that sounds like so far. Now let's dress it up a little with a drum beat. So I'm going to start off with one of the drum beats that is on your assignment sheet, the most common one, and actually the very first note in that first drum beat, I'm going to put it right where I just did now on the screen rather than on the line just above it where it is on the assignment sheet. I like this sound better, but that's your choice. Then do this. I want to move it up to there, which is a snare drum sound. And then back down to where the first note was, and then another quarter note on that, on the snare drum sound. So I'm going back and forth between the bass drum and the snare drum on a drum set. I'm just going to copy that and paste it as is. Since it's a drum set and it does not have pitches, I don't need to move it to fit the chords. Now let's check out what we have. Okay, you see it keeps going. But I'm going to still focus on this for a moment. I want to create a melody that works with these chords. Again, I'm going to use chord tones, passing tones, and neighbor tones. So maybe I'll play, let's say, now I'm going to add in a little syncopation that we haven't talked much about yet, but I'm going to tie this over to another A. That's all tied together, so it's going to be just one sound, those two notes. But you can see I started on the middle note of the chord, went up through a passing note to the top note of the chord, jumped back down to the middle note, came down through a passing note to the bottom note of the chord. Chord tones, passing notes, and neighboring notes. Okay, in the next measure, maybe I'll do and then in the next measure, no, I want to begin one note higher. Nope, sorry, didn't want to do that. I meant to choose a different note. I'm going to use some 16th notes. And then I made a mistake, sorry. And then all right, let me back up and see what we have all together now. You notice it spread out my measures again, so they're not 4 in a row, but that's okay. It doesn't impact the music at all. Okay, I have my chord progression, my bass line, my drum beat, and my melody for the first 4 measures. This piece, as we'll talk about in class, is going to be in A form. There are 4 segments to it, each one 4 measures long. I just wrote the first 4 measure segment. A represents the name of each section of the music. So what I just wrote is the first section. We labeled that section A. So that section is going to happen 3 times in this piece. So I'm going to copy the entire thing, all 4 parts, all 4 measures, and I'm just going to paste it right there. Oh, that didn't work, did it? Let me do that again. I had bumped something and I unselected. Let me just do it correctly. Now I'll copy and now I'll paste. Hopefully this will work. Yes. So now I have that first 4 measures happening twice in a row. In measure 9, I'm going to begin the B section, which will be a different chord progression. So instead of 1, 4, 5, 1, maybe I'll do let's do a 3 chord, which in the key of F would be an A chord. I'll click in the other notes. Now I'll take that, copy it here, and I'm going to move it up to a 6 chord. The 6th note of the F scale is a D. Now I'll put it here, and I'm going to put it up to a 2 chord, and here I'm going to put it on a 5 chord. So now I have a different chord progression for this new section, the B section, than measures 9 through 12, where I've got a 3 to a 6 to a 2 to a 5. So the bottom note of the chord each time is how I'm getting those numbers. So A here at the bottom is the 3rd note in the F scale, D is the 6th, G is the 2nd note of the F scale, and C is the 5th note. So just as I did previously, I'll write a bass part, but a different bass part, not just with different notes to fit these chords, but I'm going to write a different rhythm. So rather than have that bum 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 bum, I'm going to have something different. Maybe I'll do, oops, try that again. I think I'll just click this in, it'll be easier. Oh, that's going too low. So I use the bottom note of the chord and the top note. And I'm going to take that, copy it, move it to fit this chord, copy it, move it to fit this chord, and then copy it here and it should fit just fine there. So now I've got a different chord progression and a different bass line, and I need to write a different melody. I can also put in a different drum beat. We're trying to make this B section very different from what the A section was. So I'll put in different material here, and then I'll go back and take my A section that I already copied and pasted, and I'm going to put it into the last 4 measures as is. So the whole piece, when we look at it, will be A section, A second time, B section, all different material once I put in a melody and a drum part there, and then A over again. And then I would go back and add in dynamics as we did with the other compositions. And I might even add in some slight variance. Like when this A repeats, maybe I'll take, oh, this one, I can take this one note and make it into that. You can tell that the whole thing is basically still the same, but I'm putting in a little variant there, and I can put in other little variants somewhere. I can make the drummer put in a fill. To sort of end that section, create a little bit of variety without really changing what it is. Okay, so we'll have A, B, A. The B I didn't finish, just so this video doesn't get too long. But you can generally see the flow of the piece.